Hello guys, welcome back. What is up, YouTube? I have been gone a while, but I wanted to show you why. So within a very short time span, we bought a house. We moved out of the old into the new, which we all know is a process and a half. And I wanted to take a big step in my life and try to change things for the better. Excuse my appearance. I'm trying to not touch my hair so that it grows, because it's at that awkward short stage where now it sticks out. It is what it is. That's what happens when you cut your hair. Anyway, it is 30 degrees out, but feels like 19. The wind is pretty heavy today. It was beautiful yesterday. It was very nice and you could feel the sun. Today it's bitter and cold and randomly flurrying. So why not still be in pajamas, drink some tea, because I already had coffee this morning, and I figured I would catch up on my YouTube. So again, I want to apologize for not being around. Hopefully I will learn how to time manage everything so that I can get everything done that I want to get done. But the main reason I have been so very busy and occupied with not being able to do my videos is I have signed up for school at Northampton Community College, and this is my my book that I write everything down in. This has been a huge learning experience. I went from working a full-time job and full-time taking care of Jackson to full-time taking care of Jackson and now full-time school. So I'm currently not working, which sucks. I hate not having an income. But PJ, my husband, is pulling the reins on the finances so that I can go to school, because I wanted to better my education. I wanted to get a better job. I don't want to be stuck at some random job for the rest of my life. I want to know that I'm going somewhere. So I chose to go for accounting, which the basics of it is very easy. Ultimately, I want to be a CPA so that I can be more in charge of things. And it's not easy. We've hit chapters, we will be starting chapter 6. This is spring break. This week is spring break. Woo, spring break, yay! Really all it is just not time in school. So it's whatever. I'm still doing everything else. I wanted to share my experience for anybody else. I did a lot of looking up how to do good in online courses with no time, because when you have a almost 2-year-old running around causing havoc, he's now getting into everything. He's now testing his limits to see what he can pull out, break, throw, anything. And he climbs the walls, literally climbs the walls sometimes. Whatever he can grab onto, he's clutching and he's grabbing. Only so much of my time, and I have to really concentrate on what I'm doing. I can't just go through it. It's not easy to do that when he's he wants to run around, or he needs tending to, or whatever. I was trying to look up on YouTube videos of girls going to school and how they manage their time, or guys going to school and how they manage their time and how they get their study time in and everything else. Well, what I found was every single video that I was finding had nothing to do with having a kid and going to school. Almost every single video showed a young boy or a young girl that either live at the dorms or live at home, and it's not my scenario. So it wasn't helping me, because they were saying time management, spend 3 hours studying. Okay, well, my 3 hours studying is after he lays down at the end of the night, because when else am I supposed to sit for 3 hours and study during the day? So my itinerary for school is, I am currently taking 5 classes. It is a lot. The easiest way that I can explain it, if you have a job or if you are a mother, a full-time student at college is like having 2 jobs on top of your job that you have to do at home, which is tending to your house, tending to your kids, doing the errands. So in my experience, a full-time position at college equals 2 full-time jobs. That's basically what it feels like. So I bought this calendar at the dollar store, and all it is every month broken down by the pages. You can see I have a lot of my writing in there. So what I've been doing is, because it's open up like this, real nice, see, look, spring break, I go through every single one of my syllabuses. So this is my computers, this is my accounting, my math, my English, and my film, which, just to let you know, if you need a elective to do, film is work, but it is fun, and it makes you look at things so much differently. I suggest taking film for an elective if you want something fun to do. But overall, there's my 5 classes, my 5 syllabuses of Bibles that I have of my classes. I'm going to write down everything that's due, which I actually already did, if you can see. I did write down what is due already. It tells you class 7, 8, 9, 10, and it tells you when they're due. So each week, the week before, I write down everything that's due for the next week. So from Friday into next Friday, I write everything down, or however you want to do it. You can do it for the whole month if you want, whatever. But it makes it easier for me, because instead of rummaging through these sheets, which I still do to see what's next or what I have to do or make sure I didn't miss anything, I always refer back to these. These are your Bible when it comes to school. I write it all down. So now I know spring break is this week. I know by Monday my English is due. And then I'll just refer to my syllabus as to what exactly is due, because I'm not going to go into detail and write it when I already have it printed right here, which English is English number 10, English number 10. That's when it's due. It's due on the 18th. And then obviously you get it. I have another English assignment due on the 22nd. 24th is accounting in my film class. 25th is math and computers. So I write down for the month what is due. I write when it's due. I don't write what is due. I use these to know what I have to do. The other thing is, I just want to show you, besides my notes that I have added into my books, this alone is my folder with my chapters 1 through 4, or 5, I'm sorry, that we've done so far in accounting. Some paper, because you always need it. And then this whole thing is my accounting book. It's very big, it's very informative, but it has a lot of information. Is my computers. I have the same thing. She gave us, it came with a cheat sheet for different classes, for the different, not classes, I don't know what's wrong with me today, I'm tired. See, windows, shortcuts that you can use. And then obviously I don't have any notes in here because I've been writing them in here and didn't take them out. But I just write notes on the chapters of what the teachers will send us PowerPoints, and they point out the major things that we're going to be tested on or talking about. So I write that all down. And then I wanted to show you, this is another massive book. That is the computer book, Math, which you can purchase a book, but you have the option of purchasing the book on your computer. So I just log in on my school site, and then I log into my math lab, it's called. So this one is quite simple. He gives us on our course study notes to fill in, and then he sends us PowerPoints, and those PowerPoints have the answers to those notes. So you fill those in, and that is the majority of what I saw on, I only took one exam so far for math. Everything in that is on there. This is English. This is called They Say, I Say. I've never read this up until now, going to college, and I have to say that your writing and your speaking becomes very more mature, and you learn to look at things in a more creative and knowledgeable way to say things or to present things. So this is part of what we read, and then they'll also send us stuff that they want us to read and then discuss about. And then there's just papers in here. So that's that one. But this is your book that you get for film. I've noticed with this class to highlight the movies that are outlined in each chapter, because some of the quizzes will actually ask you questions about specific movies for that chapter that was spoken about. And then I just have a folder filled with notes. Needless to say, I've been doing all this research. I was getting really frustrated with the fact that I couldn't time manage my schoolwork as well as everything else that I have to do. My goal since I started school, which was January 14th, it is now March 12th. I've been learning as I go. And it's been a struggle. No lie, it's been a struggle. I had a mental breakdown about 2 weeks ago where I was supposed to do a collab video with a friend of mine, and we had all this work and all these exams coming up, and it was horrible. I had no time to myself, to the point where I was getting up, sitting in my pajamas, not doing my hair, not doing my makeup, and I was starting to feel like crap about myself. Not to mention, the whole point of me going to school was to get a better career. But not only that, prior to school, I was working nights at a pharmaceutical company, and it was horrible. Not the company itself, the hours. I didn't get to see my friends, I didn't get to see my family. I wasn't able to have any time for myself, really. And Jackson was a lot younger, so I was a milkmaid. And I was pumping on breaks in a break room, and it was just, I don't know, it was a mess. What I wanted to do is share with other people out there who are juggling, taking care of their house, their pets, their young children, that is always harder, and going to school full time. I've learned a little bit of things as I go along. I'm still learning, and I probably will continue to learn as I go, because as you progress within your chapters and your classes, it's also becoming harder. What I've learned so far is what I showed you earlier has definitely helped me keep up on what is due. English is due. Let me refer to my syllabus. So now assignment 10 is just reading, but as you look down now, assignment 11 the deadline is March 25th. So I actually have it written down due on the 22nd, because whenever you have a deadline on something, especially if you read everything that's here, you're writing an essay, and it's very long as to what they want and how they want it, and the fact that the book that we read has to pertain to how we respond in our essay. That's going to take some work. So because I have it written down and I have it here to refer to, I know that it's going to take me some time. So I know to start it a few days earlier. The other thing is, I do that for every single class. I will look and see what I have to do and determine approximately. I can't sit here and say, oh, it's going to take me 2 hours, oh, it's going to take me 3 hours. There's times where you just get into a situation where you don't get it, or you have to do more research to understand it, which takes more time, which is the situation I've been running into quite often. And I don't have that time with Jackson, because the only time I have is when he naps or at night. So prior to spring break, I had an exam in every single class due, coming up within the 2 weeks prior of, actually that week prior to spring break, on top of all my assignments. So it wasn't easy to study, on top of the fact that I was up till 1 o'clock in the morning every night, and then Jackson was getting up at 6:37. So like I said, I'm trying to give hints and tips to people who have to juggle those kinds of things, because when it's hard enough to go to college and be at home or in a dorm, this is even harder, because now you're juggling basically your time, that you only get so much time in one day, and you have to try to figure that out. I've broken it down into steps. My accounting, my math, and my computers all have PowerPoints that the teachers will send us. I personally feel that the PowerPoints are very, very helpful to read over, but with the notes that were already given to you. So for example, accounting. She gives us a PowerPoint that breaks down all the major information that she wants us to know to get through the chapter. On top of, there's other things that I have to do as well. So what I do is she sends us notes for every single chapter that basically break down the majority of what we're going to need to know on our exams and to pass the course. I don't sit and write notes on all the PowerPoints. I don't print them out or anything. What I do is I print out the notes that she gives us. So if a class does this and the PowerPoints seem very informative, what you do is you read over them and print out. If the teacher gives you the ability to have notes that they send you, print those notes out, and if there's any extra notes or anything else that you want to write on those notes itself. So when you go back to study your notes, all your information is on just those pages. I was writing them on index cards, I was highlighting things, I was basically doing more than what I had to do and making the course 12 hours instead of 6 hours. And counting my computers and my math alone are 6-hour classes. At least 6 hours of your time a day. So that breaks it down. I have 2 other classes to do still on top of my normal stuff. So number 1, everybody talks about time management. Well, your time management for when you can't add more time to one day, you break things down to see where the majority of your information is coming from. Like I said, the notes that she gives us, the majority of it is the chapter broken down smaller so that it highlights what we need to know. So I use her notes, I write my notes with her notes, and then I highlight major words. Like if I have to know merchandiser, what is a merchandiser? I'm not going to highlight what is a merchandiser, I'm going to highlight merchandiser. Then I know to remember what a merchandiser is. Math is modules, and I started out at the beginning because math has always been terrible. But you got to learn someday, right? So what I did was I evaluated the stuff he gives us, and he also gives us PowerPoints, but he also gives us notes as well, which makes it very easy because those notes have questions that you get the answers from the PowerPoint. You don't actually have to search for the answers. They're right there. So if you follow your notes that he gives you with your PowerPoint, there's your set of notes, just like accounting, that you have to go over to know everything that you're going to need to know for your exam. English is, I'm not going to sit here and say it's necessarily easy. For me, it's easy. But the time, again, is what hurts me. I don't have hours to sit and write and do like I used to when I was in school. Just look at what's due. The reading never takes very long, so you know you don't need much time for that. But when it comes to your essays, if you know that an essay is coming up, you should probably read over a couple of times what is asked of you within that essay so that you can get your mind mentally ready. And when you're ready to actually start typing it or writing it, sit down and do it. And then reread it before you check it, reread it, spell check it before you send it to your professor. Film, like I said, is very, very fun. I'm very, very glad I picked this class. I didn't know what to pick, so I asked my advisor I was kind of silly about it, but I'm like, what's an easy class? Because I have enough on my plate. I don't want something that's going to be hard. She said film was a popular one that most people pick, and I decided to go with it. It is very fun. Like I said, the reading takes time. So if you know that my film is always due on Sundays, I know that it's due Sundays. So I try to get to the reading on like Friday to give myself time to get through the chapter. And computers, it's not necessarily hard, but it's just like accounting and math, where it's just so much time is involved. There's so much involved that you have to do. Yes, her PowerPoints, that's what I was going to say. Her PowerPoints have a lot of information, and 99.9% of that information is on the test. So I usually do notes on the PowerPoints because you're gonna need it when it comes to your quizzes, your tests, and then your classwork that you need. If the professors provide you with notes, print them out. Print them out and then write additional notes on those same notes. And as you're going through it, to kill two birds with one stone, not only are you printing out the notes that you're going to need because the teacher already gave them to you, the professor, you are also writing your own notes on the same ones. So now you only have to refer to that set of notes. You don't have to juggle through like I was doing. That's my number one thing with time management when you got little ones. You have to break things down. I was trying to get one class done within a day, and that's not possible. I actually have to break it down a few hours every single day in order to get them completed when they're due. So, and that's because of my time frame. So by doing your notes that way, you could actually get your notes done in that one day that you spend that time doing the classes. And from there, then you can work on getting this stuff done. And now you already have the notes to refer back to. I've also realized that you can't get it done in one day, not with the schedule that you have as a mother and responsible for things. On top of the fact that I've had it in my mind, I tried to do a little bit of each class and I was breaking it down into hours, and that was very helpful. But the problem with that is you need to be very responsible to stick to that. You have to have your mindset of, I'm going to put this many hours into each class and I'm going to make sure that I get it done. So that's that's a big one too, because you just can't, it's impossible to get one class done in one day with the time schedule of a mother with little ones and a house to take care of. So my suggestion is number one is your organization. Organize your stuff. It might take a few extra minutes to do it, but you will be thankful in the long run. You won't be scattering, trying to figure out what's due, when it's due, how much time do you have until it's due, when your exams are. All your exams and tests are written down as well. So number one key is organization. Number two is whatever works best for you. In my personal opinion, I would like to pick, and this is going by being a mother and having to get up and get, everything. Spend so many hours, pick and choose however many hours you can. Do 2 hours in the morning, do 4 hours at night, or whatever works. Pick those hours and split them up between the two classes that are due coming up first, so that you at least get that time in, and it's not like it's due tomorrow and you have the entire course to do, which could be 6 to 8 hours, and you don't have that time in one day. So I suggest breaking it up. Most of our little ones take naps. During that nap time, if you feel you have to get some work done, or that's an hour or two of time that you really want to put in, do it. If not, I suggest using that hour or two of their nap time to yourself. I wasn't doing that before, and then I wound up having a breakdown because I was having absolutely no time for myself, and that didn't end well. And nobody wants to have a mental breakdown over something that they're trying to benefit themselves with. Number three, pay attention to what is on your notes from your professors, because it'll repeat itself within the notes, and you will realize that that's something you need to know. That is a red flag, like, hey, remember me for the test. Usually I try to go through my notes before bed because it's proven that you remember more when you go over stuff before you lay down. So I try to do that. If you're like me, I'm horrible at any tests and any exam, and it's not because I'm not getting the information. This has been an issue that I've always had. I panic. Not to mention when you log in or when you do your proctored exams that are at the school, you're timed. So you have that in the back of your mind, as well as you're trying to do your test. So my first exam, I panicked. This would be number 4. Number 4 is when you take your exams to not stress about the time and to not rush through things so you're answering them incorrectly or not fully. I suggest answering everything that you automatically know. If you look at the question and go, oh, I know this, do it. If you're not sure and you have to stop and think about it, skip over it. Go to the next thing right away. Because then what will happen is you will get done everything you do need that you know, and then you'll have left what you're not sure of, so you can take that little bit of time to kind of think about it before you answer it. That's the only advice I have when it comes to the exams. So number 5, along with your time management, is your study management, which I could tell you right now, with my schedule and having Jackson and everything else, the studying part is the one that suffers the most. You always do what you have to do to make sure your work gets done, but when it comes to studying, that gets pushed on the back burner to the point where it's like the night before. Notes are the first thing to get done so that I have them to study on top of, everything. So, number 6 is set the mood. I know that sounds silly. And with having a little one, you can't necessarily just sit in one room. Usually, my computer desk is located in the living room. Jackson, his toys, the TV for him, all that is in the other room. So I can sit here and do my work, but then I can't see what he's doing. On top of, if I'm in the same room as him, he'll then venture into here and touch things and all that. So I get it. It's gonna happen. You're gonna have to get up and get down and all that, and try to get yourself as comfortable and ready to do it as much as you can. Believe me, there's days where I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it, and there's days where I question, why am I doing this? I know that I'm doing it for the better, and I lose track of that sometimes, just like everybody else, but I feel like you do need to make yourself comfortable, and you definitely need to get your favorite pen to write your stuff down. Get, your favorite highlighter to write stuff down. It sounds silly and stupid, and then make yourself comfortable. Make yourself a cup of tea or coffee or wine. Who cares? You're not going anywhere. I just figured I would share this with the people out there because I kept trying to look up videos for inspiration and for to help me figure this out, to try to do this. When really there is no set answer to it. It all depends on the person themselves and their situations, and I feel that it's a trial and error type situation. You kind of have to do it to know whether or not it's the right thing to be doing. Also, the other thing is I jumped into this as a full-time student, not knowing anything about college and how it works and how this goes, with a 2-year-old and a house and everything else that I have to juggle. I suggest taking, if you can, I'm going to actually look into it myself. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure you can. But if you take full-time one semester, then go part-time the next semester, then go full-time the next semester, part-time the next semester, so on and so forth, you will only push your schooling out for 6 more months by doing that. So it's not that big of a deal that you're pushing it out 6 more months. I didn't want to go part-time fully because I didn't want to push my schooling out 4 years, because that's how long it would have pushed out if I did part-time for every semester. But I figured, as long as I find out it's okay, which I'm pretty sure it is, this semester will be over in the beginning of May, so I'm almost done already. It's crazy. But my suggestion is, if you have a little one, they're going to change. Every stage for them changes, and it also changes for you. So I suggest going either full-time or part-time first, and then your next semester switch it, then so on and so forth. I really think that's a better idea for people with little children, because what will happen is, like going full-time, you're overloaded. You have too much to do. Then you'll go as part-time and have more time to manage how you want to do your schooling and how you want to spend time at home. Not to mention, it'll give you more time to be able to get back that, you know, that feeling of, okay, I can go out, I can do this. The other important thing I suggest is, do not make a goal of not doing work on the weekends. I don't know if it's possible for part-time students, but I know that for a full-time student, there is no such thing as not having work 7 days a week. You're gonna have work 7 days a week, no matter what. Because you don't have enough time in one day, it's gonna get pushed. So I tried to make a goal of not having any work to do on the weekends, and that's just not realistic. I like to try to have my weekends for myself and my family and cleaning and whatever else I have to get done. But I have learned to work around that. You do the majority of your schoolwork Monday through Friday, and then leave some for Saturday and Sunday, even if it's only a couple of hours, Saturday night and Sunday night, or Saturday morning and Sunday morning. You're not cutting your time away from you. You have those 2 days, whether you want to or not, you have them. And 2-3 hours out of a Saturday and 2-3 hours out of a Sunday is not going to kill anybody to do a little bit of work. It'll pay off. You know, certain things have to get put on the back burner when you're doing this much stuff at once. And the one thing you don't want being put on the back burner is your kids and then yourself, because you put yourself on the back burner and then you start to feel like crap. And even if you have really good grades, you still feel like crap, because now you have no life outside of those good grades. So that would be my number one informative thing to you guys, is don't forget about yourself. Don't forget about yourself, because I've done it and it didn't get me very far, and then I became discouraged, and then I wasn't focusing on my schooling as much as I should, and I was just downright depressed. You know, just try to let it out. Absolutely let it out. If you feel that way, let it out, girl, boy, let it out. You got to get it out. But then you have to make a change. I hope that I was able to help somebody out. Like I said, I was trying to search for videos with the same situation as me. I couldn't find any. So hopefully this helps somebody out that's in the same situation. I know there are a lot of women and a lot of men that are trying to go back to school at an older age, like me, and have kids, especially young kids, and it's just not easy. So just remind yourself, no, it is not easy, but you're here to do it. You're here to get it done, and that's what you're gonna do. You signed up for this, now it's time to do it. And I think that's it for my video today. I apologize for being gone and here and there, but hopefully now with my new way of learning and studying and practicing everything for school, I will be able to have more time. So keep your eyes open for more videos. Hope that it helps anybody out there. That's what I'm here for. I like to help people out because I know how it feels. So thank you very much for watching, and subscribe to my channel. Give me a thumbs up and a like, whatever works. You know, help a sister out. Just trying to make a little, you know, side money so my husband's not doing it by himself. I'm trying to make my way up the pole here. But thank you guys very much for watching, and in the description below I will write down the orders of how to do things just in case, and hope you guys have a great day. Peace.